Hello. In this video, we will talk about frequency counters. So, frequency counter is a pattern which uses objects or sets to collect the values, or you can say the frequency of values. Okay. So let's understand this concept of frequency counter using a particular example. Let's take that the case is you are given with a string. Okay. So you are given with a particular string. Let's say that the string is coding. Or let's take a different string, okay, which contain different characters. Let's take pattern only. This is a string given to you. Okay. And if I will ask you that, tell me the frequency of each character which is present in this string, means the frequency of characters which are present in this particular string. So what you will say? So you will say that P is present one times, A is present one times, T is present two times, E is present one time, R is present one time, and N is also present one time. This is what we will see. These are the frequency of characters which are present in this particular string, which is pattern. Okay. So whenever we have to find the frequency of our values, frequencies of our elements, of our object, in that case, we come up with the method of frequency counter. This is a method which is used in case when we have to find the frequency of, let's say, character in a string or numbers in an object in an array. For example, that we are given with an array. Let's take an array. That the array is like 1, 2, 1, 8, 9, 7, 8. Let's say this is the array given to us. And if I will ask you that what is the frequency of each characters in this array, so you will say that yeah, 1 is present 2 times, 2 is present 1 times. Okay, 2 is present 1 time. 8 is present 2 times. Similarly, 9 is present 1 time. And 7 is also present only 1 time. That is what you will say. So, this is basically what is called frequency. What is the frequency of each number in the array? Now, if I will just ask you that how we can find the frequency of a particular number, how we can find the frequency of a particular of all the values of a array. Just like in this array, we have to find that yeah, frequency of 1 is 2, 2 is 1. What are the different methods to find that? So the very brute force approach. I will ask you about the brute force approach. So that particular brute force approach will take something order of n square time. But if we use some objects or some sets to correct the frequency, which is called the frequency counter method, then that particular task can be performed in just order of big O of n times. Means if you will apply a brute force approach, then the same work will require order of big O of n square time. But if you will use the frequency counter method, in that case, your task will be done in big O of n time only. Big O of n time only. As the name suggests, we are calling it frequency counters. Means basically what we will do, we will count the frequency of each number, each element in the given array or the given string which is given to us. So this is what we have to find. And for that particular method, frequency counter is given. Now, let's see that, first of all, let's see the brute force approach. What will be the brute force approach, using which we can find the frequency of each element which is given in an array or which is given in a string. So it can be either case, if we are dealing with the array or let's say a string, anything, and if we have to find a frequency of it, means frequency of each element, then how we can find it using brute force approach. So first let's discuss the brute force approach for it. Here you can see this is the brute force approach, how you can find the frequency of each array element. So what you will do, you will simply traverse through the array element and count the frequency of it. That is the only thing you have to do. That is the only thing you have to do basically. You have to also implement one more thing here, that if element is present more than one time, obviously the element will be present more than one time, then you don't have to find the frequency of same element again and again. Okay, but for here we are taking we are writing it like here. Let's take let me change it something like is visited is equal to true continue. So this is the approach which we are going to discuss today. First, let's discuss what we are doing here. So first of all, you can see this for loop which we have taken. So this for loop is basically traversing through the complete array which. So you can see that this is the array which we are considering basically. This is the array which we are considering. Okay. So and so what we will do, we will also dry run while understanding what we are doing. Okay. तो साथ साथ समझते भी हैं कि क्या पढ़ रहे हैं और हम लोग कोड भी देखेंगे, ठीक है. So this is, let's say, the array which is given to you, and you have to find the frequency of each element in this array. Right? So you can see in a start the value of I will be 0. So it will start from 0 and it will get up to the last of the array. Okay. Initially its value will be 0. So initially the value of I, or basically I, will point towards 1. Okay, and I will point towards 1. So now we will so also we will check that whether the visited of j is equal to true or not. Visited of I basically. Now what is the meaning of this particular line? What we are taking, we are also taking a Boolean array. And in that array, we are storing true if the frequency of each element is already counted. So let's say because there are 3 ones present. So there is no need to count the frequency of one again and again. If we have counted it for once, it's fine. That is why we have make a check called visited. That if our element is already visited, the frequency of an element is already counted, then there is no need to again count that frequency. Okay. This is the case which we are taking. If the visited is true, means you have already counted the frequency, so you just continue. Okay? Otherwise, in the else case, what we will do? You can see that currently we are at 0th position. So let me add a positions also, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So currently we are at a 0th position. The 0th position. Okay. For the 0th position, what we will do is, for a 0th position, what we will do is, first we have made our count to 1. We have made our count to 1. Why 1? Because we are currently at its position and there we have a number 1. So we will already make its count to 1 कि भाई अभी यहाँ पर जहाँ पर हम हैं वहाँ पर हमारे पास एक नंबर है जो है कि 1, उसका काउंट हमने 1 कर दिया. ये काउंट 1 का मतलब क्या है कि हमारे पास एक 1 है इस 0 इंडेक्स पे. इस काउंट 1 का मतलब है कि हमारे पास इस इंडेक्स पे एक 1 है. ठीक है. Now what we are doing? Now we are taking another loop. And this another loop is starting from I plus 1, means just next index of it, and is going up to the end of the array. जो दूसरी लूप होगी वो हमारी यहाँ से उस इंडेक्स के आगे से लेकर आखिरी तक जाएगी. This is what another array will do. Now the case is, you can see here, whenever we are getting an element which is equal to I, तो हमें जब भी एक ऐसा एलिमेंट मिलेगा जो कि हमारा इस एलिमेंट के इक्वल होगा जहां हमारा I पॉइंट करेगा. मैंने आपको बोला ना कि हमारा J होगा वो यहां से लेके यहां तक जाएगा. Our J will iterate from I plus 1 to the end of the array. And whenever J will encounter a number which is equal to ARR of I, so it will increase the count. So let's see. First J is here. So I is 1, J is 3. It will not increase. Now J is here. Again it will not increase. Now J is here. Now it will increase the count. Why? Because this 1 is equal to so the count now will be 2. Now J will is at this particular point. Again you can see the match is there. Same number is there. Again it will increase the count. And similarly it will just go on. It will just go on the next step. Okay. तो क्या करेंगे हम लोग कि हमारा J होगा वो I के जस्ट आगे से शुरू होगा. तो हमारा J होगा, let me tell you, जो हमारा J होगा वो I के जस्ट आगे से शुरू होगा यहाँ से और लास्ट तक जाएगा. और जब भी हमें एक ऐसा नंबर मिलेगा जो कि I के इक्वल होगा, जो I पे जो नंबर है उसके इक्वल होगा, तो हम लोग काउंट बढ़ा देंगे. काउंट बढ़ाने का मतलब क्या है कि वो नंबर इतने टाइम प्रेजेंट है, दैट नंबर इज प्रेजेंट दिस नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स. Okay, this is what we do. So this is how we'll just go on, and also we'll make visited of j is equal to. इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि उस नंबर को हम लोग काउंट कर चुके हैं. दैट मीन्स वी हैव काउंटेड दैट पर्टिकुलर नंबर. अगर विजिटेड जे ट्रू हो गया इसका मतलब हमने उस नंबर को काउंट कर लिया है. एंड देन वी जस्ट प्रिंट इट, log it or anything. Means the frequency, the number and its frequency. You can see in this case the number was 1 and its frequency was 3. Similarly, in the next iteration, when there will be another iteration, so the value I will be now here, and j will start from here to here. So initially the count will be 1, then j will go to the last of the array, then it will find a number which is equal to 3. यहाँ पर आप देखो कि एक पहले 3 था तो काउंट हमारा 1 था, फिर एक और 3 मिला हमें बाद में यहाँ पर इस पोजीशन में, तो काउंट हमारा 2 हो गया. तो 3 के लिए काउंट कितना हुआ? 3 के लिए काउंट हो गया 2, तो 3 और 2 को प्रिंट कर देगा. सिमिलरली 2 के लिए भी वो दो नंबर मिलेंगे, 2 और 2 को प्रिंट कर देगा. इसके अलावा देखो कि 1 है 2 है 3 है, उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑलरेडी हम लोग काउंट कर चुके थे, तो वो यहीं से कंटिन्यू कर देगा एक तरीके से. ठीक है, तो ये ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच, दिस इज द ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच. हाउ यू कैन फाइंड, very very simple approach is there, how you can find the frequency of each number. And you can see in this particular brute force approach, what is the time complexity. Here we have a loop of n, here we also have a loop of n. The overall time complexity is basically order of n square. It is order of n square. The time complexity for the approach which we are considering is order of n square. This is what we have. This is what we have. So whenever we are implementing it, it is taking order of n square time. Now let's think that can we do a optimized way? Can we find the frequency of each number in just order of n time? Can we do it? Can we find a frequency of each number in order of n time? If we can, then there will be a very nice trick. Okay, so let's discuss that how we can optimize that approach, how we can use the concept of frequency counters to find the frequency of each and every element of an array. Okay, this was a brute force approach which is taking order of n square time. Now let's talk about a optimized approach, frequency counter approach, which will take order of n time. Now let's discuss the optimized approach, how we can find the frequency. So for that, what we will do, we will take a frequency array, or we can say a frequency counter. That is what we will do. So we will take help of a frequency counter. That will be nothing but just a simple object. Okay, you can see here I have created a frequency counter here, which is currently empty. Now what this frequency counter will do, it will store the frequency of each and every element. As you know that currently, let's say our frequency counter is just f, its name is just f. So currently our frequency counter is just empty. Let f is empty, it is just empty, a blank object. Okay, now what we will do, we will just iterate once to the complete array. We will just iterate once to the complete array, and then let's see how we can do this thing. So let's say we are currently here. So if the indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, तो हमने एक फ्रीक्वेंसी काउंटर ले लिया जो कि अभी ब्लैंक है पूरा. हमारी ये एरे है, हमारा अभी जो आई है, जो आइटरेटर है हमारी लूप का, इसमें वैसे मैं यहाँ पर फॉर ईच लूप ले रहा हूँ, आप कैसे भी ले सकते हो, वो बेसिकली यहाँ पर है. यू कैन टेक फॉर ईच लूप, यू कैन टेक एनी वन ऑफ द लूप. ओके, व्हाट यू विल डू, हियर यू कैन सी दैट यू हैव गॉट दिस वन. अभी आपका जो करंट एलिमेंट है दैट इज 1, so currently your value is 1. Now you will check the frequency for that value, means whether in that frequency counter you have any value for that key or not. So you will check that whether if the frequency counter of that value. Means, is there, what is an object? Object is a key value pair. Object is a key value pair. What is key? In key, we will store the element of the array, and in value, we will store the frequency of it. Object एक key value pair होता है. So currently, you can see that this is our frequency, which is currently empty. We have nothing in our frequency. Now, in that frequency array, we will search for the key 1, and whether 1 is present in that frequency array or not. It was not present. It is not present. So in that case, what we will do? We will add our key value pair, which is frequency counter of value is equal to. Automatically, a key value pair, which is 1, 1, will be created. 1, 1 means because value is also 1 in this case. And 1 why? Because currently we have only 1, 1. सिर्फ एक 1 है हमारे पास अभी. ठीक है, हम लोग आगे आए 3 पे. Now at 3, the value is, again you can see, this 3 also is not present in this frequency counter. So because it is not present, it will again make it present and make its value to 1. Again, a 3, 1 key value pair will be inserted. 3, 1. Okay, this is the case. Now in the next case, another thing will happen. It will go to the 2. Again for 2 also, it will add a frequency pair. Frequency value is equal to 1. That is, a 2, 1 pair will be inserted. So now if I will ask you till here, if I'll ask you that what is the value of f of 3, you will say 1. If I will ask you what is the value of f of 2, you will say 1. If I will ask you what is the value of f of 1, you will say 1. Because till now we have encountered 1, 1, 1, 3 and 1, 2. एक 1 मिला है, एक 3 मिला है, एक 2 मिला है. ठीक है, अभी तक. तो अगर मैं इसको इरेज कर दूं, अगर मैं इस तरीके से लिखूं, तो मैंने आपको बताया, तो क्या होगा? आप देखो स्टार्टिंग में क्या होगा. स्टार्टिंग में सबकी वैल्यू 0 है. In start, the values of f1 will also be 0. The value of f2 will also be 0. The value of f3 will also be 0. Similarly, for all the other values, for all the other numbers, the value will be 0. Because we don't have any key value pair. When we will get 1, we will increase its value to 1. Means we will set its value to 1. When we are setting its value to 1. When we got 3, we will set its value to 1. When we got 2, we will set its value to 1. Now when we again get a 1, okay, so whenever we will again get a 1, means already our frequency is present and we are again getting the same number, so we will increase its frequency. हम लोग उसकी frequency बढ़ा देंगे. So now frequency of 1 should not be 1, it will now become 2. एक और 1 आया तो और बढ़ा दो, 3 कर दो. Now we have a 2, make it 2. Now we have a 3, make the frequency of 3 2. This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. Okay. This is a method of frequency array. If I will ask you that what will be the time complexity for this, so time complexity is very simple. It is just normally order of n. The time complexity for this method is simply order of n because we are just traversing once. हम लोग एक बार पूरे array में traverse कर रहे हैं. And space complexity is also order of n. Why? Because we are taking a frequency count. So in order of n time and space complexity, we are able to find the frequency of each. You can see frequency of 1 is 3, frequency of 2 is 0, frequency of 3 is 2. And for all the other number 4, 5, 6, 7, the frequency will be 0 only because we have not increased its value. This will be the case. And then easily you can check the frequency of each and every number. Using a frequency counter array, using this particular method, you can find the frequency of each and every element of a particular number. Now, we will have some examples, we will have some problems where we can use this particular method. So let's see how we can use this particular method in different problems and implement it. Now let's take an example, and with the help of the example, we will understand that how we can use this frequency counter method in different problems. You can see that the problem given to us is we have to write a function called same which accepts two arrays. The function should return true if every value in the array has its corresponding square in the second array. So we have two arrays, and for every value of first array should have its square in the second array. ठीक है, दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम सेम कि दो एरे होंगी, एक एरे में आपको कुछ कुछ नंबर्स दिए गए होंगे, उन नंबर्स के जो स्क्वायर हैं वो दूसरी एरे में होने चाहिए, ये आपको चेक करना है. You have to basically check this particular thing. Okay. So to check this particular thing, to check for this question, first let's discuss some example cases. You can see here, you can see the first array is 1, 2 and 3, and second array is 4, 1 and 9. You can see that if we will find this is the first array, as I told you, this is array 1. I am saying you that array 1 की जो भी squares हैं numbers वो सारे array 2 में होने चाहिए. So first let's find the squares of elements which are present in array 1. So 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4 and 3 square is 9. Now let's see that either 1, 4 and 9 are present in array 2 or not. You can see 1 is also present, 4 is also present and 9 is also present. That means if these both arrays are same, we will return true. The second case is 1, 2 and first let's find the square of them. 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9. Now you can see the second array here is 1 and 9. So 1 and 9 is present here, but 4 is not present. So we are returning false. Similarly, the third case is first array is 1, 2, 1. If we will find a square of 1 to 1, it will be 1, 4 and 1. If we find the another array, you can see it is 4, 4, 1. So 1 is present, 4 is present, but another one is not present. You can see the frequency also matters. If there are two ones, अगर यहाँ दो 1 है तो वहाँ भी दो 1 होने चाहिए. अगर यहाँ एक 4 है तो यहाँ भी एक 4 होना चाहिए. Exactly, you have to match the frequency of these both values. So this is what you have to basically do here. You have to basically do here. Okay. Now let's see how you can implement this particular problem. How we can use the process of frequency counter to find the frequency of both the arrays and to check whether it is fine or not. So the first method is, the very first method will be that for every element of array 1, you have to find its square in the array 2. आप क्या करोगे, आप array 1 का एक एलिमेंट लोगे और आप उसके स्क्वायर को array 2 में सर्च करोगे. फिर आप एक एलिमेंट लोगे, फिर उसके स्क्वायर को array 2 में चेक करोगे. ये बहुत ही ब्रूट फोर्स मेथड हो गया. लेट्स से दिस ऐसे हो गया कि 1, 2, 3 है और दूसरी array है 4, 1, 9. तो आपने पहले 1 लिया, 1 का स्क्वायर होता है 1. आपने सर्च किया क्या यहाँ 1 प्रेजेंट है कि नहीं है. हाँ 1 प्रेजेंट है. फिर आप दूसरे नंबर पे चेक करो क्या यहाँ 4 प्रेजेंट है कि नहीं है. फिर आप इसके लिए चेक करो क्या यहाँ 9 प्रेजेंट है कि नहीं है. इस तरीके से आप हर एक नंबर के लिए बार बार चेक करोगे that particular number square is present in frequency 2 or not. You will check it for each and every number. Okay. Now let's see that how we can do this particular thing. So this is the brute force approach. Here you can see that I have implemented this brute force approach. So first of all, so here you can see we are having this array. Okay. And then for that particular array, for that number, so also guys, one more thing, to find the square of a particular number, what we can do, if let's say we have to find the square of x, if we will write x star star 2, it means that it is given x square. This is how we can find a square of a number. So you can see that for a particular element in array 1, we are finding its index in array 2. For a particular element in array 1, we are finding the index of its square in array 2. And if the index is not present, means the square is not present. In that case, what we will do? In that case, we are saying the square of that number is not present. The square of that number is not present. And we are returning false. This is the brute force approach. Also, guys, one more thing. For being the array to be same, their lengths will also be same. अगर भाई दोनों एक array में numbers हैं, दूसरे array में उसके squares हैं, तो जितने number हैं उतने ही तो squares होने चाहिए. Array भी same होनी चाहिए, length भी same होनी चाहिए. तो पहले तो चेक कर ले length same है कि नहीं है. अगर length नहीं same है तो उनकी false output कर दो. नहीं तो फिर ये लूप चलाओ. Okay, so this method will take basically order of n square time. This method will take order of n square time. Okay, but now we will solve this problem in a more optimized way, which is order of n time only. Let's see how we can solve this problem in just order of n time. Just order of n time. Okay, so you can see here. Now this is not the case. Now we will discuss this one. Okay, this is the more optimized way. Now we will discuss this particular approach. Okay, let's see how. So for this particular number, what we will do, let's take these two arrays only, which is 1, 2 and 3. This is array 1. और दूसरी array हमारे पास है, array 2 is 4, 1 and 9. Okay, so now let's see that what we will do now. क्या करेंगे, ठीक है? So you can see one thing, that what we will do, we will take two frequency counter, just like we have understand how we can take frequency counter. There we have taken single frequency counter. Here we will take two frequency counter. The first, let's say f1, and second will be f2. Just like there we have counted the frequency of one array, here we will count the frequency of two different arrays. You can see here we have taken two frequency counters, and then for both the arrays we are counting its frequency. For both the arrays we are counting the frequency of the array elements. So here you can see it will say the frequency of 1 is 1. After performing the operation, it will say that frequency 1, 2 is 1, frequency 1, 2 is 1, and similarly frequency 1, 3 is 1. Similarly here it will say frequency of 4 is 1, frequency of 1 is 1, and frequency of 9 is 1. भाई 4 एक बार प्रेजेंट है, 1 एक बार प्रेजेंट है, 9 एक बार प्रेजेंट है, ठीक है? ऐसे हमने सबकी फ्रीक्वेंसी निकाली दोनों एरे के लिए अलग अलग. अब हम लोग क्या करेंगे नॉर्मली, अब हम लोग नॉर्मली इस पर्टिकुलर एरे के अक्रॉस ट्रैवर्स करेंगे. सो अब हम लोग ये जो फ्रीक्वेंसी काउंट था काउंटर, इसके अक्रॉस ट्रैवर्स करेंगे कि हर नंबर के लिए, फ्रीक्वेंसी एरे के हर नंबर के लिए उसका स्क्वायर प्रेजेंट है कि नहीं है, और उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी सेम होनी चाहिए. अब हमने देखा 1 है, 1 की फ्रीक्वेंसी 1 है. अब 1 का स्क्वायर देखो, व्हाट इज द स्क्वायर ऑफ 1? तो 1 स्क्वायर इज आल्सो 1. नाउ चेक द फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ 1 स्क्वायर. तो 1 की फ्रीक्वेंसी 1 थी, 1 के स्क्वायर की फ्रीक्वेंसी में 1 थी. इसका मतलब सही है. आगे बढ़ जाओ, ठीक है? नेक्स्ट केस 2 इज देयर, तो 2 की फ्रीक्वेंसी 1 है. नाउ लेट्स फाइंड द फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ 2 स्क्वायर. तो 2 स्क्वायर है 4, एंड द फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ 2 स्क्वायर इज आल्सो 1. तो कहा भाई ये भी सही है, 2 भी 1 है और उसका स्क्वायर की फ्रीक्वेंसी 1 है. दोनों मतलब सेम टाइम अगर कर रहे हैं. Similarly for 9 also, its frequency is also 1 and its square frequency is also 1. So because all the numbers have its frequency and its square frequency same, so we will return true. तो कहीं भी ऐसा होगा कि फ्रीक्वेंसी सेम नहीं होगी तो हम लोग फॉल्स रिटर्न कर देंगे. We will just simply return false. ये तो केस था, यहाँ पे हम लोग ट्रू रिटर्न कर रहे हैं. ये सेम एरे हैं कह सकते हैं. Now let's discuss the problem where arrays will not be same. Arrays will be different, where we will return false. So let's take this example like 1, 3 and 7, and let's say that the second array is let's take one more 1. One more 1 is there, and here let's say 1, 9, 8 and 1. This is the array 2 and this is the array 1. You can see that these two arrays, their size is equal but they are not same, because यहाँ पर 7 है, यहाँ पर 7 का स्क्वायर 49 कहीं पर भी नहीं. We don't have square 7 of square of 7, which is 49. First of all, what we will do according to the logic, we will have two frequency counters. So let's say frequency counter of 1, it will store the frequency of all the elements of this array 1. So 1 दो बार present है. Similarly, frequency of 3 will be 1. It is present one time. Similarly, frequency of 7 will be 1. Now here frequency of 1 will be 2. Frequency of 8 will be 1, and frequency of 9 will be 1. This is f2. Let's take it counter f2. This is counter f1. We will take two counters. You can see here two counters will be. Okay. Now for all the keys of counter 1, we'll search for the frequency of its square in counter 2. यहाँ पर देखो एक 1 प्रेजेंट है, इसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी 2 है, तो हम लोग 1 के स्क्वायर की फ्रीक्वेंसी इस काउंटर में चेक करें. तो यहाँ पे 1 की फ्रीक्वेंसी 2 थी और यहाँ पे 1 के स्क्वायर की फ्रीक्वेंसी भी 2 है, मतलब दोनों सेम बार है. 1 का स्क्वायर ये रहा, एक का ये रहा. ये मतलब केस सही है. ओके, Now the third is 3. So here the frequency of 3 is 1. 3 की frequency 1 है और उसका square क्या है? The square of 3 is 9. Now we will search for frequency of 9. और 9 की frequency 1 है. तो मतलब ये भी केस सही चल गया. 3 के लिए भी उसका square present है. Now for 7, its frequency is 1, but its square, which is 49, its frequency is not given. उसकी frequency अब है नहीं, उसकी frequency एक तरीके से 0 है. मैंने क्या कहा था? जो नंबर नहीं है उसकी frequency हमारे पास 0 होती है. या फिर होती ही नहीं है कह सकते हो. वो की प्रेजेंट ही नहीं होती है. 0 भी नहीं बोल सकते हैं, अनडिफाइंड होती है, नल होती है. वो वैल्यू प्रेजेंट ही नहीं होती है. इस केस में क्या होता है? इन दैट केस वी विल जस्ट रिटर्न फॉल्स. उस केस में फॉल्स रिटर्न कर दें. उसकी जो की है वो प्रेजेंट ही नहीं है. दो केस में फॉल्स होगा, या तो की प्रेजेंट ही नहीं है या की जो फ्रीक्वेंसी वो चेंज कर रही है नंबर से. दिस इज व्हाट विल डू. और अगर आप देखो कि फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर अप्रोच इट्स टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी मींस द टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर अप्रोच विल बी सिंपली order of n only. The time complexity for this approach will be just normal order of n. And its space complexity will also be order of n. Because we are just taking, or we can say 2n also, we can get 2n because we are taking two different frequency counters. Okay. So this was the method which we have already discussed, how we can find the frequency of each element in an array. Okay. कि अगर कुछ नहीं है तो उसको 1 कर दो, अदरवाइज इंक्रीज बाय 1. सो यू कैन सी अगर फ्रीक्वेंसी एरे में कुछ होगा तो उसको +1 कर देगा, अदरवाइज उसको 0 में +1 कर देगा. ओके. एंड इस तरीके से आप फ्रीक्वेंसी काउंट कर लोगे. तो आपने दोनों एरेस के लिए फ्रीक्वेंसी काउंट कर लिया यहाँ पर. अब आप उन फ्रीक्वेंसी को आपस में मैच कर ले रहे हो, इक्वल है कि नहीं है. एक बहुत ही अच्छा मेथड है हाउ यू कैन परफॉर्म द फ्रीक्वेंसी काउंटर मेथड. अब ये काम आपका ऑर्डर ऑफ एन में हो रहा है, बिग ऑफ एन में हो रहा है. पहले कैसे हो रहा था? इस केस में कैसे हो रहा था? इस केस में बिग ऑफ एन स्क्वायर में हो रहा था. अब बिग ऑफ एन स्क्वायर में बिल्कुल मतलब स्क्वायर हो गया. अगर एक एक जगह 10 मिनट में हो रहा है, एक जगह 100 मिनट में हो गया. ये मतलब मैं रिलेट कर रहा हूँ एज यू कैन नो कि टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी मिनट या टाइम हमें टाइम बताती है, रिलेट करती है आउटपुट से. तो ये बेसिकली मैंने एग्जांपल दिया आपको. तो इट इज बिकॉज we are using frequency counter. So frequency counter is very important topic. Whenever you have to count the frequency of an array, of a string, whatever, we basically use the frequency counter method. Okay? So this is what we have to implement. This is what we have to implement. Okay. So the next example which we are going to discuss is anagrams. Let's first discuss that what are two anagram strings. Basically in this problem, you are given with two strings, okay, and you have to write a function. You are given with two strings, and you have to write a function to determine if the second string is an anagram of the first. If the second string is an anagram of the first, okay. Basically, you have to check that you are given with two strings, and you have to check that whether those two strings are anagram or not. So two strings are considered to be anagram. Let me first define that what are anagram. So two strings are considered to be anagram if the first condition is they have same character. They have same character. If two strings have same characters, then they are anagram. One more condition is that frequency of each character should be same. So basically they should have same characters and their frequency should also be same. Let's take that first string is cinema and second string is Iceman. You can see in this both the strings they are anagram. Why? Because there is one C, one I, one N, one E, one M, and one A. Similarly, for this case also you can see there is a one I, one C, one E, one M, one A, and one N. So these both the strings have same frequency. Okay, these both the strings have same frequency. Okay, fine. Now, so these are said to be anagram, means they have same characters plus the frequency of each character is also same. They have same characters and the frequency of each character is also same. So they are called anagram string. Okay. Now, let's take some more examples. Let's say two strings are AAZ and ZZE. So the first case was they should have same characters. That case is fulfilled because you can see this string also has two characters A and Z. This string also has two characters A and Z. But the second case is not correct. The frequency of characters are not same. Here A is present two times, Z is present one time. Here A is present one time, Z is present two times. So they are not the anagrams. Similarly, we have different other examples also. So we have to basically write a function which takes two strings and check that whether that string is anagram or not. Whether that string is anagram or not. So first you can see here I have written the brute force approach for this problem. I have simply written the brute force approach. Brute force approach is very easy. It is a very easy approach. The approach will be simple like, so first of all you will also see that there is also a third hidden case in this anagram string, which is that size of size of the two strings should also be same, equal. You can say equal. Because if two strings are having same characters and the frequency of each character is also same, so obviously their size should also be same. Their size should also be equal. That is a very obvious case. If characters are same, frequency is same, so size should also be same, or you can say equal. That is a very obvious case of the two strings which are considered to be anagram, which are considered to be anagram strings. So this is a very obvious case that we have to observe, that we have to take into consideration. Okay. Now you can just see one thing. You can just observe one thing that let's say we have these two strings, and if we have two, let's say I have salted this first string. Okay? After sorting, it will become A, C, D. This will be the salted string. If I will sort cinema in alphabetical order, in lexicographical order, okay, alphabetically order, so it will become like this: ACEIMN. And if I will sort this Iceman also, it will become equal: ACEIM. They both will be equal. Okay. And if two strings after sorting will become equal, that means they are anagram string. This is the brute force approach. You can check for any string. Let's check for another string. Let's say the string is uh, maths, and another string is arms. This will be become after sorting A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. H will be there. S. This will be. Okay, this will be the sorted string. If I will sort this will also become equal to this only. Means they are anagrams. And if they are not equal, let's say like that is case only AZ and ZZA. If I will sort them, it will become AAZ after sorting, it will become AZZ after sorting. They will be not an anagram. So this is what I have done. I have simply taken two strings are given to me. I have first calculated the length of these two strings, the length of str1 and the length of str2. Now what I have done, if the lengths are not equal, I will simply return false. I will simply return false. Okay. Because if length are not equal, then obviously the case is that strings cannot be anagram. Strings cannot be anagram. The next case is we will first solve it. We'll simply solve this given string. If after sorting, those strings will become equal. If after sorting, those strings will become equal, that means that they are anagram, else we have written false. This is the first case, what we have to do. This is the first case, what we have to implement. This is the first case to implement. Now, the second case is the second case. So if we will just found the time complexity for this first case, so the time complexity will be order of n log n. That will be time complexity. N is basically the length of the string. Length of the string. That is the time complexity. But can we solve it in time complexity of order of n? Yes, we can surely solve it with the time complexity of order of n using the frequency array method. Using the frequency array method. And that is what I have written here. Here you can see, okay. Here you can see I have written a code. Let me make it more clear to you. Okay. Yeah. So this is a code I have written. Fine. So here you can see what I have done. I have taken first two count or frequency count arrays. Now you can say, sir, what will be the size of that arrays? So the size of that array, so if we will just simply take frequency count object that we have taken in the last problem, but here you can see that if we are just considering the lowercase alphabetical letters, if we are just considering lowercase alphabetical letter, means in our string, let's say we only have lowercase alphabetical letters. Okay, so there are only 26 characters. सिर्फ 26 कैरेक्टर से तो होते हैं अल्फाबेट में, तो हमें सिर्फ 26 साइज की स्ट्रिंग लेनी पड़ेगी, एरे लेनी पड़ेगी. अब मैं एक बार आपको थोड़ा सा हिंदी में बताता हूँ. व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, एनाग्राम क्या होता है, दो स्ट्रिंग अगर साइज सेम हो, उसमें सेम नंबर के कैरेक्टर्स हो और सेम फ्रीक्वेंसी के कैरेक्टर्स की, इसका मतलब एनाग्राम होती है. उसके लिए ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच क्या है कि उस स्ट्रिंग को आप दोनों स्ट्रिंग को आप सॉल्ट कर लो. अगर सॉल्ट करने के बाद में वो स्ट्रिंग इक्वल आ जाती है, इसका मतलब एनाग्राम है, आप ट्रू रिटर्न कर सकते हो. ये हमारा ये वाला केस था, ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच था. इसकी टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी क्या थी, एन लॉग एन थी. अब हम लोग मोर ऑप्टिमाइज टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी की तरफ जा रहे हैं, जो कि ऑर्डर ऑफ एन. उसके लिए व्हाट विल डू, विल टेक टू फ्रीक्वेंसी एरेज and the size of that frequency arrays will be simply 26 if we are considering that we only have lower case alphabetical letters. अगर हमारे स्ट्रिंग में सिर्फ लोअर केस अल्फाबेटिकल लेटर्स होंगे तो ऑब्वियसली सिर्फ 26 ही तो होते हैं. तो वी जस्ट टेक अ एरे ऑफ साइज 26. हम लोग क्या करेंगे, इनिशियली हम लोग उन सारे एरेज की वैल्यू को जीरो दे देंगे, सारे एरेज को जीरो दे देंगे, वैल्यू स्टार्टिंग से जीरो हो जाएंगे. अब एक चीज देखो, नाउ यू विल से सर इन नंबर्स, फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव टू फाइंड फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ नंबर लाइक दिस. तो आप क्या करते थे कि आपने लिख दिया ARR1 प्लस प्लस, पर यहाँ तो हमारे पास कैरेक्टर्स हैं, ए है, बी है, सी है. तो हम लोग इसकी इंडेक्स कैसे निकालेंगे, हम लोग कैसे पता करेंगे कि ए की इंडेक्स क्या है, बी की इंडेक्स क्या है. ओके, बेसिकली हम लोग कर क्या रहे हैं यार, देखो हम लोग कर क्या रहे हैं मैं बताता हूँ. फर्स्ट लेट्स टेक एग्जांपल दैट वी हैव टू स्ट्रिंग्स, ओके, व्हिच इज सिनेमा एंड वी हैव आइसमैन. Okay. So first what we will do, we will take a array of size 26. We will take an array of size 26. So let's take it. Let's take an array of size 26. Okay. Let's consider this is the array of size 26. So let me create it. Okay. Now what we will do is that in this array I will store the frequency of the element. So if I will just make the divisions 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 एंड 26. ठीक है, तो ये हमारे पास एक एरे आ गई है, इसका साइज है 26. ठीक है, तो हम लोग एक काम करते हैं, इसमें इंडेक्सिंग कर लेते हैं 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, तो 26 साइज की एरे हमारे पास आ गई। ठीक, करेंटली सारे वैल्यूज जीरो है मान लो। ठीक है, ऐसी हमारे पास दो एरेज होंगी, ऐसी हमारे पास दो एरेज होंगी। इन सबका मैं इस पूरी एरे को एक सिंगल ग्रुप बना लेता हूँ, एंड similarly we will have two arrays of this similar type. We'll have a duplicate array too, like this. Why two arrays are there? Two arrays are there because we want, two arrays are there because what we want is, we want we want this particular thing for two different strings. So to store the frequency of two different strings, we will take two arrays. Now guys, what I will do, the number in the first index, in the zeroth index of this frequency, will tell us how many A's are there. The second index will tell us how many B's are there, then C, then D, then E. But how you will tell that for a particular character what is its index? मैं बोल रहा हूँ A की इंडेक्स 1 है, B की इंडेक्स 2 है, ये आप कैसे निकालोगे? आप कैसे पता करोगे कि A की इंडेक्स 1 है, मतलब A जो है हमारा एक तरीके से A की इंडेक्स 0 है, क्योंकि A हमारा 0 कैरेक्टर पे आ रहा है। मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि हम लोग इस एरे में क्या करेंगे, हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग काउंट ऑफ str.char at 0, तो उस पर्टिकुलर कैर कोड एट 0, मतलब उस पर्टिकुलर इंडेक्स पे जो कैरेक्टर है, उस पर्टिकुलर इंडेक्स पे जो कैरेक्टर है उसमें हम लोग प्लस प्लस कर रहे हैं, बेसिकली उसे कैर कोड कर रहे हैं। तो कैर कोड का मतलब क्या होता है बताता हूँ। तो ए होता है, उसका कोड है 1, उसका कोड है 0 सॉरी। बी होता है, उसका कोड होता है 1। हम लोग कैसे निकालते कैसे हैं, अगर हम लोग हर कैरेक्टर में से ए को माइनस कर दें, ए माइनस ए कितना होगा, 0 होगा। बी माइनस ए कितना होगा, 1 होगा। सी माइनस ए कितना होगा, 2 होगा। इस तरीके से हमारे पास हर कैरेक्टर का कोड आ जाएगा। इसके लिए हमारे पास जावास्क्रिप्ट फंक्शन होता है कैर कोड एट। ठीक है, तो ये चीजें हम लोग निकाल लेंगे। ठीक, बेसिकली हम लोग अपने उस पर्टिकुलर कैरेक्टर को लेंगे और उसका कोड निकालेंगे, और हम लोग उस कोड की जो फ्रीक्वेंसी वो प्लस प्लस कर देंगे, उस पर्टिकुलर कोड की फ्रीक्वेंसी हम लोग प्लस प्लस कर देंगे। समझ में आ रहा है? तो देखो, सबसे पहले देखो हमारे पास सबसे पहले सी है, तो पहले हम लोग करते हैं इस वाले के लिए। ठीक है, यहाँ सी है हमारे पास, सबसे पहले हमने सी वाले को 1 कर दिया। सी सॉरी, सी के लिए 2 था ना, 2 इंडेक्स सी के। मैं सबके लिए लिख देता हूँ कि कौन से कैरेक्टर के इंडेक्स क्या है। ए बी सी डी ई एफ जी एच आई जे के एल एम एन ओ पी क्यू आर एस टी यू वी डब्ल्यू एक्स वाई जेड। ओके, सी के लिए हमने बढ़ा दिया, तो सी के लिए हमारी फ्रीक्वेंसी 1 हो गई। सिमिलरली आई के लिए हमारी फ्रीक्वेंसी 1 हो गई। सिमिलरली एन के लिए हमारी फ्रीक्वेंसी 1 हो गई। ई के लिए 1 हो गई। एम के लिए 1 हो गई। ए के लिए 1 हो गई। बाकी सब 0 0 है, बाकी सब 0 है, ऑटोमेटिकली 0 है। ठीक है, सिमिलरली यहाँ पर आइसमैन के लिए, आई के लिए 1 हो गई, आई के लिए 1 हो गई। ठीक है, 8 इंडेक्स। सी के लिए 1 हो गई, ई के लिए 1 हो गई। एम, फॉर एम इट विल बी 1, फॉर एन इट विल बी 1। ओके, एंड फॉर ए इट विल बी 1। सिमिलरली जहां जहां इसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी 1 है, वहां वहां इसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी 1। बेसिकली फ्रीक्वेंसी इक्वल है, देख सकते हो। यही हमें करना है। We will have two count arrays and we will count the frequency of each and every character. At the last, we'll compare their frequency. हर कैरेक्टर के लिए अगर फ्रीक्वेंसी हमारी इक्वल है, हर कैरेक्टर के लिए अगर हमारी फ्रीक्वेंसी इक्वल है, तो मतलब क्या है कि हमारा जो स्ट्रिंग का एनाग्राम है, यहाँ भी हम लोग पहले वाले तरीके ही हर एक कैरेक्टर की फ्रीक्वेंसी निकालेंगे। So this is what this particular thing is. This is what this particular approach is. So what we do in this particular approach of, let's revise this complete thing from start. Okay, हम लोगों ने जो भी पढ़ा है अभी तक उसको पूरा स्टार्ट से रिवाइज करते हैं। We have learned about frequency counter. In frequency counter, the first thing is the brute force approach, that for each and every element we just iterate to the complete array and we find its frequency. ये होती है इसकी brute force approach. The second approach will be कि हम लोग क्या करें, हम लोग एक मैप ले लें या फिर हम लोग एक फ्रीक्वेंसी array ले लें, and using that frequency, using that map, using that set, using that object, what we can do, we can store the frequency of different values. So in that case, nested loop or n square operations are avoided, are not used. Okay, this is the case. Now the second thing we should discuss for this particular array, कि अगर हमें इस array के लिए निकालना हो कि कौन सा कैरेक्टर कितनी बार आ रहा है, एक तो ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच हो जाएगा। वो ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच ऐसा हो जाएगा दैट ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच विल सिंपली लाइक कि हमें जो है नॉर्मल एक मेथड करना पड़ेगा। okay? तो ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच हो जाएगा कि हमें बहुत ही नॉर्मल वे में क्या करना पड़ेगा कि एक पर्टिकुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी लेनी पड़ेगी और उस फ्रीक्वेंसी में हम लोग उसकी सारी फ्रीक्वेंसी ऐड करेंगे, स्टोर करेंगे, ठीक है। और फिर स्टोर करने के बाद में वी विल ऑब्वियसली वी यूज इट, ओके, कि कौन सी कैरेक्टर फ्रीक्वेंसी कितनी है, ठीक। उसके बाद हमारे पास आता है एक एग्जांपल जो मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ, जो कि सेम नंबर्स के लिए था। सेम नंबर मतलब बेसिकली बात की थी कि अगर हमारे पास एक नंबर, एक अरे इसमें एक नंबर्स है एंड अनदर अरे जिसमें उसके स्क्वायर्स हैं, हमें चेक करना था कि इक्वल वो सारे नंबर के लिए उसके स्क्वायर है कि नहीं है। इसके लिए उन्होंने क्या किया था, फ्रीक्वेंसी अरे का मेथड यूज किया था। अगर 1 है तो उसका स्क्वायर है कि नहीं है, 2 है तो उसका स्क्वायर है कि नहीं है। इस तरीके से हमने पूरा उस वाले मेथड को यूज किया था यहाँ पर, ठीक है, जो कि हमारा टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑर्डर ऑफ एन और स्पेस कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑर्डर ऑफ 2n में हुआ था, ओके। दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड, ओके। आफ्टर दैट व्हाट वी डिस्कस अबाउट एनाग्राम स्ट्रिंग। तो वी हैव डिस्कस अबाउट एनाग्राम स्ट्रिंग्स, एनाग्राम स्ट्रिंग्स कैसी थी, उसको हमने कैसे यूज किया था, ओके। क्या होती है एनाग्राम स्ट्रिंग? देयर आर थ्री प्रॉपर्टीज, द साइज ऑफ द स्ट्रिंग शुड बी सेम, दे शुड हैव सेम कैरेक्टर्स एंड फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ ईच कैरेक्टर शुड बी सेम। वो हम लोग चेक कैसे किया था? एक तो ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच था, ये रहा। ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच में क्या किया था कि हमने सॉर्ट कर ली थी स्ट्रिंग, उसमें टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑर्डर ऑफ n log n थी, ओके। बट इन दिस अप्रोच यहाँ पर टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी क्या है, ऑर्डर ऑफ n है, और स्पेस कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी भी क्या है, ऑर्डर ऑफ n है। और यू कैन सी ऑर्डर ऑफ n भी नहीं है, बिकॉज हम लोग सिर्फ एरे 26 साइज के ले रहे हैं, तो स्पेस कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी कांस्टेंट है। देखो ये एक बात है ऑब्जर्व करने के लिए। इस केस में क्या हो रहा है कि हमारी जो एरे आ रही है वो कुछ भी हो साइज स्ट्रिंग का, वो एरे का साइज हमेशा 26 होगा। ऑर्डर ऑफ 26 बेसिकली ऑर्डर ऑफ 1 ही तो हुआ। तो इस केस में जो हमने बाद में केस डिस्कस किया ये वाला, in this case, in this particular case, our time complexity is okay, it is order of n, n means the size of the string, but the space complexity will be just order of 1. The space complexity was just order of 1. This is the case. So this is all about frequency counters. In frequency counters, they are basically used in different places, like as I told you, to find frequency of element in a array, to find frequency of uh, characters in a string, or you can see to find to compare two strings or arrays. We have checked both the problems. You can see in the first problems we are comparing two arrays where one has the values and one has the squares. In the second problem we are comparing two strings that they are anagram or not. In that case we use frequency counter. We also use frequency counter in cases when we have to make check of that what characters are present, make check of characters of elements, कौन सा एलिमेंट प्रेजेंट है नहीं है, लोग कैसे पता करेंगे, उसको फ्रीक्वेंसी एलिमेंट डाल के कि उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी कितनी है। अगर एलिमेंट प्रेजेंट है मतलब उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी 0 से बड़ी होगी, अगर प्रेजेंट नहीं है मतलब उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी 0 होगी। इस तरीके से हम लोग इनका यूज कर सकते हैं। दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द फ्रीक्वेंसी काउंटर्स मेथड। थैंक यू।